listening, I'm in. So after all these stories, how are you feeling? Good. Such a amazing story. Well, my name is Elizabeth Wanning. I'm with a ministry called Equipped to Love. One of the things that we like to focus on is helping pastors and church leaders, churches understand the experience of homosexuality. Because honestly, there's such a big divide between the gay community and the church. We just don't even know each other. We need ambassadors of hope, reconciliation, and I'm so proud to have been able to get this group together. This little group, as Ken described this morning, was a thought in our minds of what could be effective for the Senate or for the California Capitol to understand the dynamics behind this bill. So what a privilege to be able to bring this team together, a real dream. So I want to say that I came out as a lesbian in my early 20s. And I became quickly a part of the gay community, and I loved being part of the gay community. I have good memories of being in the gay community. I didn't run from that experience. It seemed fulfilling to me, and I loved my life as a lesbian. In fact, being a lesbian seemed to explain why I was the way I was. About 10 years after coming out, I went to a Christian seminary, openly lesbian. I became part of the gay-affirming Christian church movement. But shortly after graduating from seminary, I visited a charismatic church. And now, I grew up in the Presbyterian church, and I was pursuing ordination in that church. But I had never seen obvious manifestations of the power of God. And I went to this charismatic church, this little youth group, and a young man, about 17 years old, approached me, and he said, "I think I have a word from God for you." And I thought, that was one of the most ridiculous things I'd ever heard. I was seeing people with their arms raised, and people on the floor, and things going on. Honestly, it was horrifying. I didn't know what was going on. But this 17-year-old boy, he gave me a word that was an answer. It was a direct answer to something I had been praying for years. In my heart, though I had gone to seminary, though I had spent years in Bible studies, studying, searching for the truth of God, I really didn't believe that God was alive. I certainly didn't believe that he knew who I was. I worshipped a holy God, a righteous God, one that was not accessible to me, or at least so I believed. And in that moment, I thought, is it possible that God knows who I am? And if it is, I have no idea who God is. And so I swore in that moment that I would begin a search. And the only reliable source that I knew of for knowledge of God was in the Bible. And so I began searching the scripture. I picked up a highlighter and a new Bible, fresh pages, and I began highlighting every description of God's character, every place that he describes himself. I wasn't searching for what is sin. I wasn't searching for how I was going to fix my life. I had plenty of problems, but my focus was just, is God alive? And if he is, who is this God? Right now. And the one that I found was so excellent, so beautiful, so desirable. I began to think, if I could actually have communion with this God, I would have value. I would have purpose. There would be meaning for my life because his excellence would come into my own life. And so I began questioning my sexuality as a lesbian. I began questioning what I had believed through seminary. I began questioning everything that had seemed to not give life, because everything that I was experiencing now in the presence of God, seeing what he was saying about himself, this compassionate God, this beautiful God, the one who searches for us, who gives us meaning, I began to experience his presence and his love. And I wouldn't sacrifice anything. I wasn't willing to risk that anything I had believed in doctrine could be wrong for the sake of losing an opportunity to experience more of this God. So I released my identity as a lesbian. That led to a strange experience of desire for the man that is now my husband. It was a challenging experience. It was not easy for me to let go of the gay community. I didn't want to let go of the gay community. My desires began to change. And I had to come to terms with the fact that my own sexuality was more fluid than I believed. My faith has led me out of that lifestyle. But I have many friends. I have many lovers who are still in that lifestyle. I am so dedicated to breaking down the barriers between the church and the gay community. Amen. This is not about us forcing gay people into hard places or forcing people to change or do something that's abusive that would be painful to gay people. This is about opening up opportunities for encounter, for experience, for love, breaking down bigotry and doubt and presumption, and making a way for gay people to experience the love of Jesus. I'm so thankful you're all here. I just want Kim to come